I just want to make a few comments. It's fairly difficult to follow a video as staggering as some of those, but I want to try and tie together what the engineers are saying and the academics to what we in the insurance industry have to face on a daily basis. And extreme volatility, extreme weather events, typically the insurance industry is looking at the frequency issue, the severity issue, okay? But the other aspect of these events I want to highlight for you and encourage you to think about is the timing issue. So there is an interesting change now, and we've seen it recently. We saw it in Philippines with Typhoon Haiyan. We saw it in upstate New York, Buffalo. They had 65 inches of snow in 24 hours. We've even seen it here a little bit in Hong Kong recently, right? We had a very dry 5 months. We had the South China Morning Post on June 3rd saying we're heading towards a drought. And I think we're all agreed last week was reasonably wet. So from an insurance perspective, the volatility, the timing issue, apart from the frequency and the severity, which I think everybody is and can read about, is something that the reinsurers, particularly the insurers of the insurers, are increasingly concerned about. Those insurance companies will buy protections on a short-term basis. But if your typical monsoon season is June to August or June to September, and you're having massive typhoons hit in November, that's a problem for the industry. Secondly, what we're seeing the industry focus a lot more now on is the data, the analytics, the information, right? And Hong Kong, I think, and Christine just commented to me, Hong Kong has excellent data, has very good data. Other parts of the world do not have as good a data. What you're seeing developing is companies, private equity-backed companies, who are getting to a granular level and disseminating or selling that information. And what the industry wants is the best information available. If we look at the Greater Bay Area, where are you going to site your project? If we're looking at high-speed rail projects or roads and tunnels, what are the areas, what are the conditions, the ground conditions? And I think it's important, I want to come back to that issue of delay in a second. The other issue that the insurance industry is looking at more and more closely is the quality of the sponsors, the contractors, the engineering firms that are executing that work or that project. If you have a nuclear power plant, do you have a civil engineering firm that actually has never been involved in the construction of a nuclear power plant? What is the tunneling expertise? What's the experience of that firm which is executing that tunneling contract? Have they done a project where they are actually using tunnel boring machines? All right, that type of information. They want to see the CV of the principals involved in that infrastructure project. Last but not least, I think what's important to think about when we look at infrastructure development, green infrastructure development, and the topic for today is going to be what are the sources of financing for those projects? Projects that are developed and constructed on a non or limited recourse basis, where you have the lenders involved, will carry specific obligations in respect of the insurance procurement, the project insurance procurement. And that's fundamental because what lenders, and I know I have to be careful how I phrase this, what lenders, of course, are always concerned about is that debt reservice. Right? You need to get paid for that loan, okay? And there are insurance products which specifically address that exposure, that risk, right? And what the industry, I think, is more and more concerned about is that issue of delay. And I think it's really important that you take away the comments that were just made. If you have contract claim, contract claim, contract claim, and you have a severe weather event, your schedule will be significantly impacted. And who should bear that risk? Right? And we've seen here in Hong Kong, when you have contract claim, contract claim, contract claim, severe weather event, which causes a tunnel boring machine to flood, and we see this massive delay risk. And if you're an insurer and you are insuring that project which has that product addressing that debt service repayment, that's a huge exposure. So the industry in general is concerned about extreme weather. They're funding claims related to extreme weather events, and they want to make sure increasingly that they are managing, that the contractors and sponsors are managing that risk. They are asset investors as well as underwriters of risk, so they have an extreme interest in this topic. I think I'll stop there. Thanks.